This is another session. Of course, this is lesson 3 of the second module, and we are going to have an introduction to sign language. I want to remind you about a number of things that we have to know in order to be able to communicate well to the deaf community. Remember, sign language convey meaning through manual communication and use of the body languages instead of using sound pattern. So there's no voicing when it comes to expressing yourself in sign language. Unlike in the last lesson, I said that when you are expressing yourself using signed exact English, you voice. That one is in schools, and that is not sign language. I'm saying that when you are expressing yourself using sign language, you actually use the manual communication and the body language. You don't use sound pattern. You don't voice, but rather you mouth. Mouthing is a skill we will discuss. Now, another thing we have to know that sign language involves the simultaneous combination of the hand shapes. Hand shapes you form, we learned about the hand shapes, different hand shapes, orientation and the movement of the hands, arms of the body, that's the body movement, and of course facial expressions to express a speaker's thought or mind. That when someone is speaking, you are able to collect everything from the speaker and translate or express using the signs, the hand shape, the body language, that's the body movement, and the facial expression to convey a meaning. So you have to listen to the speaker, to the one speaking, so that you get the message and you express it using the sign language. So that's very necessary when it comes to learning or using sign language. And remember that sign language are based on the idea that vision is the most tool for a deaf person to communicate or to receive information. Now, during communication using sign language, it's very necessary that we need light. We need light for the purposes of seeing each other and for the seeing of the movement of the hands, the body language, and reading the facial expression, among other things. So it's necessary that we value sign language as a visual language rather than auditory language. Now, what are some of the general characteristics of sign language? How will you express sign language, whether in written or signed form? How will you express sign language? You have to know the following. Number one, that sign language does not use plural. There is no plural in sign language. For example, when you say people, you say customers, adding s to form plurals in sign language is not recognized. But rather there are ways of expressing plurals. For example, I've said a book. It comes books when it comes to plural. But in sign language, when you say a book and you want to refer to many books now, you don't say book, then you add s. That's not sign language, but rather that is signed exact English. In sign language, the plural of book, you sign either 2 times or 3 times. Book, book, book. That means plural. That means there are many books in sign language. The next thing you have to know is that we don't have the use of tenses. The past tense, the past participle, simple past, present, continuous, future tense, we don't value those one in sign language. Rather, there are words, given words that replaces these tenses. For example, you want to refer to something that happened either long time ago or just in the simple past. you use this form. So this means past. So depending on which past you are referring to, the facial expression will show. For example, simple past, long time ago, the facial expression will speak. So that one replaces the past form of any word. Future is this one, or F, like this. That means future. That one replaces the tense for future. The present tense, we use this one, now. So for example, you are saying children are playing now. The children are playing. So the word now has to come in to show that the action is still going on. The next thing we have to know is that there is no use of affixes. There's no use of a commas, full stop, question marks, and what have you. But rather, the body language and the facial expression are the one that will indicate that there is a comma, there is a full stop, there's a question, and what have you. For example, this one means this is a comma. This is a comma. A question mark will also will be indicated by use of the facial expression. For example, that means, what will you eat? Look at the facial expression. That one brings about a questioning. You are asking someone whether he or she will take a meal. So the question mark is not there, but the facial expression indicates that you are asking a question. The next thing is that sign language is either expressed in signs or in a written form. But when you are expressing sign language in a written form, there is a given pattern that it follows. So we have to bear that one in mind. The next thing is that when you are writing sign language has to be written in capital letters. So very soon, when I'll be giving you an exam, I'll ask you to translate from English to sign language. So throughout your writing, when expressing in sign language, you write in capital letter. Every word should be written in capital letter. There's no small letters in sign language. And there's no writing English using capital letters unless you are indicating a proper noun or you are starting a sentence. That one we have to know. The next thing is about names of people or places. Names of people or places have to be written using hyphens. What do I mean by this? For example, a name like John. John has J, O, H, and N. So from one letter to another, you must use a hyphen. For example, you write J hyphen, O, you put a hyphen, H, another hyphen, then N. That's how we write names of people and names of proper nouns. Names of places, we also use hyphens. So when you want to say, I'll go to Nairobi next week, when you reach where Nairobi is, you put a hyphen. N hyphen, E hyphen, R hyphen, O hyphen, B hyphen, I, like that. That's how we do it in sign language. Then the next one is that the language pattern of sign language takes the form of object, subject, and verb. Object, subject, and verb. However, during communication, it's not necessary to follow that order. It's not necessary during communication or interpretation. But when it comes to written form, you have to follow that order. When you are expressing sign language in written form, you have to follow the order of object, subject, and verb. So you start, the subject will be the first one, followed by the subject, then verb. Unlike in English, where we start with subject, verb, and object. The last thing about characteristics of sign language is that the use of commas, full stop, exclamation marks, question marks are replaced by the appropriate body language. Not just any language, appropriate body language. So make sure that the facial expression that you want to replace are given a punctuation mark or affixes in general agrees with what you are talking about. That's very necessary. Now, something very important that I want us to talk about as we finalize this lesson is that the qualities of a good dialogue. During a discussion, what are some of the things that we have to observe? Number one, that you watch someone's gesture as he or she signs and you follow the movement of the hand. Why is this necessary? So that you are able to get the meaning. So make sure you follow the gestures, the body language, the movement of the hands, and what have you when someone is signing, so that you get the appropriate meaning of what someone needs to say. The next thing is that you have to maintain the eye contact. The eye contact in sign language is very necessary. When you maintain the eye contact, you are looking at a person like this. You are maintaining the eye contact. You are able to read the feelings or the mood of the person signing. So it's very necessary that we do that in sign language. The next thing is when signing, as I mentioned, when you are signing, please make sure you consider everyone. Make sure you cater for the needs of everyone when you are signing or interpreting, so that you avoid discriminating or leaving other groups of people during a conversation, bearing in mind that we possess different abilities. Of course, this one can also be in terms of the age group. So different age group perceives information differently. So we have to be very considerate when it comes to that. So make sure you do that, select the words appropriately. Another thing is that sign to others with respect. Sign to others with respect. And respect means you select words appropriately. That one will give someone time or will maintain your relationship during a conversation. Then lastly, sign language when it comes to a conversation or interpretation, you have to turn take. Give your signs and let people give you back their views. Now, when it comes to a discussion, as you give your ideas, you wait for someone to give you back. But during interpretation, we use rhetorical questions that you are able to pose or give information, but from the look of the audience, they are responding in the manner that they are getting. You see them nodding their heads like this. You say in a point, they agree, or you see them responding, and yet you have not asked them to do so. That means you are communicating. So make sure you have that time or allowance to bring in the audience to give back their feedback. God bless.